So please call those who've signed up to speak.
Would the following individuals please come forward when I call your name, and staff will assist you? Craig Roberts, David Morris, Lorena Taylor, Michael Lewis, Olga Zaraska, Patrick Harris, Richard Segura. Please come forward and staff will assist you.
Welcome. Happy that you're here. Please start.
Yes. Craig Roberts from the Los Angeles Community Action Network. As an advocate of for the houseless, I'd like to express my concern about the problem, which is that Measure H appears to be paying for substandard housing, homelessness services, and because of habitability and sanitation issues, as well as civil rights violations. A private nonprofit like OPCC, aka People Concern, a 501(c) organization, may only maintain its tax-exempt status when it's obeying all local, state, and federal laws. Last week's expose by KPCC shows that LA County's shelters, as well as some of them from OPCC, have very poor conditions, including neglect and abuse, and that many prefer to stay on the street rather than go use the bed in the shelter because they're afraid to.
Thank you for your testimony. Next speaker, please.
Olga Zarowska, 3rd District. I'm here again to alert the Board of Supervisors to the poor quality of homeless services and a lack of accountability for homeless services providers in our county. I urge the county to establish an ordinance spelling out the minimum standards of care for homeless services providers and a shelter monitoring committee. We need them badly. For example, one of our largest homeless services providers, OPCC, doing business as the People Concern, sets the bar quite low. There are reports of civil rights violations, unlicensed operations, uncurtailed violence, abuse, and harassment of clients by untrained staff, a prison-like culture, a non-functioning grievance procedure, and a lack of due process in program terminations, which are often retaliatory. Shockingly, OPCC collects public funding, and some of its facilities are contracted by LA County Department of Mental Health, especially in light of the current homeless crisis and the fact that last year, LA County residents voted to raise taxes in order to augment funding for homeless services providers. The need to introduce minimum standards of care and measures of accountability for these providers is dire. I request the board's immediate attention to this matter.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, please.
Michael Lewis, Districts 1 and 3. I am a client of OPCC. In May 2016, I put in a request for reasonable accommodation for physical disability. We'll call R1 with Case Manager 1 written into my Section 8 application. He said yes before you move in. I then gave him an additional request for reasonable accommodation we'll call R2. Over the weeks, I am extorted not to persist with my R2, or the unit will be given to someone else more suitable. I am then pushed into an uninhabitable unit that was not disability safe with either R1 or R2 satisfied in the least. For approximately 13 months, I was housed on paper, but had to sleep outside and not in my bed because R1 and 2 had not been provided. Once in Section 8 units, too many clients suddenly get little or no promised case management. It's mostly on paper. The property owners are the real consumers. Too often clients suffer as defective, i.e. inconveniently disabled products. Clients unfairly and discriminatorily get bounced out of Section 8 back to OPCC, temp housing, or the street. And it needs to change. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Next speaker, please.
Lorena Taylor, 3rd District. As a client of OPCC doing business as the People's Concern, I experienced disability discrimination, harassment, as well as uninhabitable and unsafe conditions, including violence. I arrived with the OPCC a couple weeks before mandatory neck surgery to prevent the loss of use of my arms. After the surgery, I was on a walker. I was given a bed far from the restroom despite many requests to accommodate my condition. Several times I did not make it to the restroom and urinated on myself. Nothing was ever done. I received no care or attention from the nurse at the respite program. She once yelled at me, "Get out of my office. I don't like sick people." And when I had pneumonia from where there was no heat in that tent for approximately a month. I repeatedly witnessed clients doing drugs and drinking alcohol at the facility. You tell staff they don't want to hear it because it's a protection area. I was thrown out and several times yelled at and physically threatened by OPC staff. As soon as I arrived there, I was harassed by a client, which later came to be a court case, and if OPCC would have stepped in and helped, it never would have cost me $2,000 to clear my name.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Next speaker, please.
Patrick Harris, 3rd District. I am a wheelchair-bound client of OPCC, People's Concern, where I have experienced disability and racial discrimination. I was assaulted and called racial slurs by a client in the presence of staff and hardly any consequence to the aggressor. My car was attacked by an enraged staff member on another occasion. The staff member put me out for 3 nights without any due process. I have not been told why I was put out, but this is common at OPCC. The grievance procedure is not posted anywhere or followed. Grievances are not effective. Staff does not do nothing about them. Many clients are afraid to complain because they the fear of retribution. Okay, for 6 months I stayed at OPCC facility that offered no disability parking. My tickets went up to $900. I had to get up at, all right.
Thank you. If any of you has anything written down you want to, give to us, we'll copy it for each member.
Okay.
If you didn't get to finish. Next speaker, please.
Yes, my name is Richard Segura, the 3rd District. I'm here to ask for minimum standards of care for homeless shelters and the Shelters Monitoring Committee. I'm a wheelchair-bound senior who almost died due to the incompetence and neglect of staff at OPCC during the business as the People's Concern. I was a client of the respite bed program, which in reality warehoused ill homeless people without any attendance care while collecting public fundings. I'm only asking that the council would send someone down there to see for themselves what's going on. You've heard numerous cases in regards to this matter at OPCC, and nothing has been done there. You people hear this, but it goes through deaf ears. It's about time that someone here does something about it. Send someone down there just to go look for themselves, to see that we're not there being vindictive or trying to get someone in trouble. We just want things to be good and people taken properly care of. As you see, I'm in a wheelchair now, and I shouldn't have been. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Executive Officer, please call more speakers.
Would the following individuals please come forward and staff will assist you? Beatriz Sandoval, Cruz Baca, Cecilia Nahar, Chris Coe, Dr. Genevieve Cleverell, George Buzetta, Jan Cisco, John Walsh, Karen Herrera, Lee Hagstorm. Please come forward and staff will assist you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Okay. My name is David Morris. I urge the county to establish minimum standards of care for homeless shelters and strict oversight for homeless service providers. I'm a disabled senior who worked all my life and I'm currently homeless. I've been a client of the respite beds at OPCC San Michelle Shelter, DBA, the People's Concern, for 470 days. Out of that 406 days with a shattered spine from a slip and fall on the shelter premises. For 15 months, I've suffered there with no housing in sight, even though I came in with a voucher that was subsequently lost by my OPCC case manager through neglect. What OPCC markets and collects funding for as a respite beds program offers no attendant care. We just want a little change for these shelters for the people that are in there and some oversight, and so that people can have a voice to the county. Thank you.
Thank you.